I get a lot of people commenting now. Apparently, they're mad about my last video showing the UN flag, saying, "Oh, well, any excuse other than flat Earth is why they use the flat Earth map." Pretty much, it's like all the countries spit on it, this and that. Well, I mean, just any excuse to explain it away. I guess believe what you want to believe, but you don't like that model. Let's take the map of the moon. So yeah, I bet nobody expected this one. Now this comes from AE Wars channel, and he does present Tartaria and debunks it multiple times in his channel. So before you say anything about the Tartaria stuff, again, he debunks it multiple times on his channel. So you can go through his videos. Even in the last part of this documentary, he debunks it, but he presents it first. So you gotta watch the documentary in full. But let's take a picture of this moon map, which I found interesting. Yeah, and there's Australia that people were complaining a lot about. Oh, Australia's too stretched out on the flat Earth map. Well, what about this map? Is it too stretched out for you now? I mean, I don't know what. Like everyone makes any excuse to avoid flat Earth, like any excuse possible. For UN to use the flat Earth map. I mean, come on, like one of the biggest organizations in the world, they use this flat Earth map and they make any excuse for why it's there other than flat Earth. I mean, I swear, just the lies people convince themselves. Like they believe the Earth is a ball because, well, they spent all their years in high school, college, and on, and they spent all those thousands of dollars, for fake careers in college, and it just over and over they say the Earth is a ball, and they give all this fake proof for it, and well, I guess it has to be real. No, you've just been conned. It's like you've just been conned by men in high places. I don't know what else to tell you. You've just been conned by con artists. So I don't know what else to tell you if you still want to believe in it. I don't have any time for the trolls. And this is what I know to be true. And I can debate you on it. And there's the United States. So yeah, it's like there it is, and I said that's where you live. This is where I live, basically. I don't know who's watching this video. I don't know which country you come from, but I'm going to assume you come from the United States. Yeah, this is our home right here. Alright, and yeah, you can watch this whole video yourself. Like I said, again, he presents Tartaria, but he debunks it multiple times in his other videos, so definitely recommend watching the entire playlist. Now, I couldn't find this video specifically on his channel. I had to go to this Clever Sonnet channel right here, and this is what it's labeled under, but AEWAR's main channel, where the videos are from, is right here. So I thought that was very interesting. I want to take a few clips as well from another show before I end this video. Alright, so this clip is from the Newsbenders from 1968, and there's a lot of truth in plain sight in this show. I mean, I'm just going to let it play, and you can watch this whole thing in full. It's in the playlist, but I'll go and let this play, since no one can be bothered to click the playlist, especially not the trolls. You know, that's how you separate the real from the fake, because they won't even bother clicking the playlist. They'll just leave an angry comment, like, no, the Earth has to be a ball. You know, I learned it in school, so it must be true. But yeah, again, sorry for my rant.
1973. We've only roughed out the news for 1973. Nothing's been given the go-ahead yet, but this is the kind of thing we have in mind.
Today, April 14th, 1973. First historic pictures by Radstar of the combined U.S.-Russian landing on the moon. Shown here are Majors Webb and Mikhailovich taking their first steps into the unknown, firing their retro rockets to land their spacecraft on the dust-covered surface. A comforting note for us stay-at-homes, both the Pentagon and the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
A comforting note for us stay-at-home. I can't show you any film on this next model. We haven't photographed it yet. But this is the way it will sound.
June the 22nd, 1973. The State Department releases film of the ultimate weapon, codenamed Icarus. This satellite is equipped with a solid reactor. In layman's terms, it can freeze air solid, stopping all missiles, killing all forms of life. Icarus orbits at the same speed as the Earth, can hang in position over every major city that threatens the peace-loving nation.
Now I want to pause it here. Now, I find it funny how they named it Icarus. Like, if you've actually read The Legend of Icarus, where he flies too close to the sun and burns his wings, I mean, how does that happen on a ball Earth, you know, with the sun 93 million miles away? I mean, I'll wait for the trolls to explain it, you know, and they'll say, oh, well, it's just fiction. Oh, well, I guess you can believe it's just fiction, I guess. You know, you can just believe that, I guess. You have little to no imagination. It's like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Rather proud of this one. Come on. Please, sit down, Mr. Luck.
September the 5th, 1973. A new phase in global warfare. War by example. At 4:32 our time, China took out the remote Indian border village of Bandor, unprotected by the Icarus network. After the first two 5-megaton H-bombs had fallen, the 9-way hotline finally... Switch it off.
This is going to happen in 1973. You're going to make this happen.
No. We're going to make models much cheaper. Then we photograph the models.
Fake newsreels.
That's fake newsreels. For the past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake newsreels and listening to our fake commentaries.
And they accept it for the truth. And you can do it. Stop 100 people in the street. How many of them have actually seen a missile or a satellite? They're just told they exist and they believe it.
Yeah, same thing with the ball Earth, you know. People are just told the ball Earth exists, the sun's 93 million miles away, that it just exists, and they believe it. You know, they'll just gobble it up, you know, accept anything they hear, and just repeat it like, you know, a parrot, never actually looking into it.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
Knew you would.
Well, now the moon rocket and the satellite, that you can get away with. That's too remote for people to grasp. It's too far away. But this... I mean, you invented this village on the Indo-Chinese border.
Oh, yeah.
Well, somebody could check out.
Very mountainous territory up there. There'll be no survivors in 1973. No rescue work. Radiation scare.
Yes. You can do it. This could be the news for 1973.
Not necessarily exactly like this. We only plan in detail 1 year ahead.
Oh, you only plan 1 year ahead.
Hey, tell me, what is the news item that's bothered you the most in the past year, 1967?
Well, it has to be the new American intercontinental ballistic missile, the Boy Wonder, doesn't it?
Just the one I asked him to set up for you. The new ICBM, codename Boy Wonder, with a much talked about Mercury warhead. I haven't any special effects up here, but perhaps with the proper sound. Blast off. And Robert Larkin, television director, high IQ, 35 years old, is scared. Scared by nothing. It doesn't work. It's a scientific impossibility. The same goes for the much talked about Mercury warhead. Perspex.
Well, if this rocket doesn't work, then the others...
They have a fireworks party at Cape Kennedy almost every other day. Well, you didn't really believe there were all these things whizzing about up there, did you? Sputniks and rockets. Astronauts crossing their legs for 8 days.
How long was...
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, astronauts crossing their leg for 8 days. Yeah, people actually believe it. Or, you know, the Peggy story, you know, Peggy, where she was in space for 666 days. So, yeah, they're just told it exists and they believe it. You know, she's just crossing her legs for exactly 666 days, like National Aeronautics and Space Administration, 666 reverse ordinal. So, yeah, they're told it exists and they believe it.
How has this been going on?
Since Hiroshima.
And the H-bomb, you mean... That doesn't work either?
Right. Dirty.
Very, very dirty.
What was your first reaction? Relief. Oh, yes. Yes, it has to be. Relief. Only 12 people are allowed beyond this point. Most of them work in the photographic department, taking phony newsreel pictures of our models and processing film and so on. Sit down, please. Ah, pretty pictures from our stills department. The Boy Wonder.
Do you really think that missiles and satellites are mile out of country?
No, not at all. I've only shown you the hard news. There are other things, much softer things we thought might interest you.
Well?
1973, we thought it might be time for an anti-teenage movement. The long-awaited return to maturity. Sherry. Perhaps even a religious revival.
Oh, I see. You want me to arrange the grand opening of Ruislip Cathedral? 1st of October, 1973. Mark the date down in my 10-year diary.
We are very serious about you. There are things about you we like very much. Qualities you have to offer. Qualities that we perhaps don't possess at the moment.
That's great.
Our file on you. I have to return to July the 25th, 1966, the day you broke it off with this girl, Sheila. You really did reveal rather a lot of yourself that day. But of course, if you really mind...
Help yourself.
You said to her, it won't work, Sheila, and she said something. And then you said...
You remember I went away with Rachel and the kids to the seaside? It was midweek and this huge stretch of sand was empty. Just a circle of footprints around 3 sandcastles and tracks out to sea. The whole damn day of my family marked out in front of me. The sun was going down. Rachel kept calling the kids to get dressed. She picked up buckets and spades, corny bloody things like that. I was up at the car. I looked at those footprints, and I knew those people were slipping away. There were things I could tell them.
We rather like that bit about footprints. You see, in this job, some of us have got rather a long way away from the idea of footprints in the sand.
Those footprints were made by my children. Now you want me to scare the hell out of them with every bomb from A to H inclusive. Well, why? I mean, when did it all start?
1945. You may remember the Americans let off their 2 atomic bombs. Well, they didn't want other people doing the same thing. I mean, you do see that, don't you?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, to scare the people off, the Americans put it up, and the atomic bomb was halfway along the line to something much bigger, the hydrogen bomb. It didn't work. They spent 5 years in negative research.
Well, what about the Russians? They're supposed to have quite a pile of these things.
We were surprised when they started their tests. Then we got a few feelers from their Secret Service. Nowadays, we work very closely together. Oh, all these stories about spies going off to Russia. Mr. Philby, remember? Just good copy for the Sunday papers.
Good copy. Well, the Chinese. I mean, they've just announced their bomb.
Yeah, we played along with it. We recorded their phony explosion. We're rather hoping the Chinese will come along. Complete the pattern, you know.
In Vietnam, hundreds of people are being killed every week. Well, you can't do that with your models.
No. But you can't cure people of bad habits in 2 generations. They like to carry rifles. They like to put lines on maps. And we let them because we control the situation. There's no danger of world war. Just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism. Strawberry or vanilla. It all adds up to the same thing now we've got rid of the big bangers.
Well, how can you be sure that Johnson, Kosygin aren't working on other things? Poison gases, bacteria.
Pathetic man of your intelligence. You don't want to destroy the world, neither do I. What makes you think the presidents are different?
Well, they've made some pretty good stabs at it in the past.
It wasn't the right sort of control then. Nowadays we know better. Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers in Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization. A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people in the top secret factories. Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
And again, like it says, the politicians are at the bottom of the ladder. You know, nothing but truth in plain sight. It's like, exactly, you know. So, your politicians, your governors, your mayors, you know, they're nothing but at the bottom of the ladder. They're just, you know, bottom feeders. Like it says.
There must come a time when somebody wants to use one of those weapons. I mean, somebody is standing there with a finger on the button.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Nobody presses the button. We control all the crises. We build them up and we shut them down.
We. Again.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Near the top of the hierarchy, there are the economists, top civil servants, top brass in the military. Those men who are supposed to view the nuclear tests and so on. And above them, CWNS.
Right at the top. Classified World News Service. Just who the hell are you?
It's obvious, isn't it? Just a very few of the top people in communications. in every major country in the world.
Oh, you mean you run all these magazines?
No, of course not. We just get them to take some of our copy every week. Television is much more important to us. All happens so quickly.
You say you can put out what pictures you like on television. Doesn't anybody try to stop you?
No, nobody wants to. 99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. And they're the top minds, the really responsible people. They know they're guaranteeing the lives of their grandchildren the only foolproof way.
Scaring the hell out of their grandchildren. Well, I won't buy it.
You must admit there has to be some kind of control in this world of ours. Look at this. And remember that 1/4 of the world is starving. There are the full bellies and the empty bellies. Some of the empty bellies carry rifles. Well, we full bellies are getting a bit flabby. We're not very good with rifles anymore, so we've devised 2 ways to keep the empty bellies under control. One of them is this fictitious hydrogen bomb we've talked about. The other one is money. Enough money to fill some of the empty bellies and put a hopeful smile on the faces of the others. A great wall of money all around Britain. And it's no secret that the British economy is in trouble at the moment. So we have to put that right, too, to stay alive. We have to control the people in this country. Scare an ostrich, buries its head in the sand. You scare a hedgehog, it rolls itself up into a ball. When a woman's frightened, she goes out and buys herself a hat.
You mean you scare us so that we'll buy more, so that money moves quicker, production moves up?
We don't say scare when we talk about human beings. We say threaten them emotionally. And there are all sorts of ways, not just the big ones like the hydrogen bomb. Overcrowd them a little with bad planning. Sell them too many motor cars. Anything to keep them a little bit removed from reality. Nowadays, people don't work for money. They work for the idea of money.
Yeah, that's the truth. Like I said, again, nothing but truth in plain sight. People don't work for money. They work for the idea of money. They get told they'll get promoted eventually, or that they'll get to a higher position eventually. You know, they work for the idea of getting paid. They don't work to get paid. Nothing but truth in plain sight.
They don't even love for love.
Yep.
They love for the idea of love. They only hate for the idea of hate. It took us 5 years to find a non-addictive drug. One we could pay off against the hard drugs. LSD.
You marketed that.
Oh, yes, of course. And for a very good reason. Some of these protest movements were getting a little bit too close to the mark. LSD gave them nice little hallucinations. Made them talk like 3-year-olds. Throw flowers at policemen. How we talk terms.
Yeah, again, you can watch this whole clip. You know, it's called The Newsbenders, but that's all I have for now. Just got mad at, again, the trolls that say, that the Earth's a ball. Like, come on, they're just fooling themselves. I don't know what else to say. Or they make it their entire personality. They'll have a picture of fake space or the ball Earth as their profile image, and they'll just make it basically their entire personality. And it just looks so laughable when I know all this information. They just, they look so ridiculous. And that's all I have for now.